Welcome back, everyone, to Hearts of Iron 4. Now, you do not know what mod this is. It is a mod, though. It's actually Black Ice. Well, of course you know. You saw the title of the video. And yeah, I want to check out this mod again and see what are they doing with it, and get some dislikes again, because whenever I criticize this mod, there's a lot of, I think, fanboys, I don't know, that just really don't like it, and so they dislike the video. Anyway, so one thing that's already kind of making me just laugh a lot is, you can't see it right now, but if you were to see my alt-tabbed view, you would see that they somehow managed to change the Hearts of Iron 4 desktop, program icon that tells me, it's running the program, to an icon of Black Ice, which is just absolutely amazing to me, that they wanted to brand even the icon. They don't trust people to, know that this is not Black Ice. Also, for some reason, I can't go back to the main menu. Like, if I do this, it's just, like, it's not, you gotta believe me that this is a bug, and there's no way for me to go back to the main menu. Anyway, we're gonna be looking at a lot of things. So obviously, kind of like how the mod is developing. My main gripes with it that used to exist, are they being fixed? Are they being worsened? Anyway, so they have different, they have one different name for the custom difficulties, of course, which is Black Ice mode instead of Elite, which is already hilarious. But then if you read the description, it's even funnier. Brutally unfair. Be ready to watch as years of preparation is done by nearly unlimited enemies, designed to make grown men cry. It is the only mode that matters. It separates the men from the boys. And see, like, it's all like, but if you actually go ahead and look at, like, what it does, it really doesn't make it all that much more difficult. It's like, it gives some bonuses to the AI, like, more research, less problems with supplies, less attrition, more planning speed. So, it's kind of like trying to fix some of the stuff that the AI does worst, in a way. And it's like, I can see why you would want that. I can also see why you wouldn't want that. And what's kind of funny is that, like, compared to, what I thought it would do, which would be probably just buff everything for the AI and nerf everything for the player, it's actually very mild. So yeah, Black Ice mode, not that difficult. So you can also have, this is actually really cool, you can actually do a lot more different things with the countries. So you can not only just strengthen anymore, you can strengthen, which is gonna be buffing up the armies. Then you can industrialize, which is gonna buff the industry, or you can just weaken overall. Which does not actually affect the economy, it only affects the troops. So I guess that's kind of nice. And you can do that with, quite a lot of customization. You can do Germany, Italy, Soviet Union, France, United Kingdom, or Commonwealth, which is all the dominions. India itself, just India. Not all the others. Actually, India is not part of Commonwealth. Interesting. I guess they think that it's already kind of a little bit too, big for the other ones. Then USA, Japan, China, the Axis miners, and the Allied miners. Now, see, the problem with just China is that it's both the Republic of China and the Soviet Republic. So, if you would want to play Mao against all odds, against a ultra-buffed KMT, you cannot really do that, because you'd be weakening both yourself and the guy, and you'd be strengthening both yourself and Chiang Kai-shek. I don't know, whatever. So let's just jump it in. Of course, as Germany. And by the way, notice that I did not enable Iron Man mode. Now, the game is not gonna. It's just not gonna recognize that, though, because the Black Ice devs really don't want you to play Iron Man, apparently. And so, yeah, when you start, you get these events. So Iron Man enabled. You're like, but I didn't. I don't know. They just named it Iron Man enabled instead of, I don't know, Iron Man. So we do not suggest you play Black Ice on Iron Man. Sure. then welcome to Black Ice. So this mod, this is actually kind of important because it's telling us what Black Ice wants. And of course, if you watch my earlier videos, you know that I paid quite a bit of attention to what Black Ice advertises itself as, and then try to compare it, you know, the reality to the advertisement. So this mod aims to be the premier historical immersion mod for Hearts of Iron IV. So consequently, this huge and expansive work requires you, the player, to carefully consider your strategic position and requires a greater level of commitment to get most out of the game. This mod isn't for the faint of hearted. We've added a huge array of military equipment as well as specific armor, aircraft, and ships for all the major nations. The national focus trees have been reworked. Expanded laws and politics allows the players more flexibility in how you choose to run your nation. We've also reworked and expanded the OBs, the division templates, research options, and equipment production for all nations. Certain new research will provide new units, whilst others will provide new equipment and upgrades. So blah, blah, blah. It just explains everything. A lot of this, at this point, it's actually kind of true. We'll see. So they're not, you know, false advertising anymore now that they have developed everything, which is nice. But what's hilarious is that they're, you know, really advertising this as like the most historically accurate and historically immersive thing ever. Let's just say that I don't think that, but whatever. Black Ice politics, yeah, like they kind of changed around the alliance system. But see, the thing is, they're saying because Hearts of Iron does not allow different ideologies to be in the same faction with each other, the alliance system was rewritten. The factions are still working, but they take time to fire the necessary events to add in everyone in wartime. So please be patient as the system works. Now, you might be saying, yeah, that's good because, you know, it's like they don't want it to be broken, and so they make their own system to replace it. But the problem is they broke it themselves by splitting off all of the democratic factions into, like, I don't know, let's do the ideology list. They split it off into conservatism, liberalism, quote-unquote socialism, aka social democracy, and authoritarianism. And, or I guess you could say that authoritarianism is another split of fascism, and fascism has been split into monarchist, authoritarianist, and fascist. So it's like, you know, they did it, and I guess they quote-unquote fixed it, but it's like, I still don't know why all of these mods that aren't Kaiserreich and Führerreich, which use a different alliance system, you know, because they disable people just joining factions on their own, and they just make the events and make the focus trees so that everyone can join the alliance that they need, and so kind of railroad it. Unless you're doing that system, I just don't understand why just split off into a million ideologies. It doesn't add anything to the game, really. You can just do some flavor stuff to represent, you know, the different democratic parties and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that's just how it works. Also, you can unite South America, which is hilarious because, you know, it makes it lag. And actually, Ecuador annexes it all. Good job, Ecuador. You're now strong as hell. Although you only have 4 factories because you haven't updated yet. Anyway, so this is, you know, what you do if you don't want the whole game to lag. I guess it's good. It's better to have it than to not have it. So obviously, you know, there's different counters, and I think they look relatively good. The problem is they break with a lot of graphic mods, which is the reason why I've had to really remove a lot of the mods that I normally am used to using. Although the game, like the Black Ice, does have basically its own graphics for the HUD, so that's, you know, a plus, so that you can see, like, kind of at a glance what you're working with. So, you know, you see that there's a blue, and you know that that's a naval bomber. You see that it's a, like, you know, striped green red, I'm not sure how to call it, and you know that it's a normal fighter. Then you see red, and you know it's a close, no, that's actually a night harassment, sorry. But yeah, it's a bomber. So red, it's a bomber. And then I'm guessing pure green might just be interceptor, but I don't see any pure greens, so eat your greens, boys. I don't know. I have no idea. And then yellow is transports. So, you know, color-coded, good. All the buttons are color-coded, so that's great. Overall, I think the look and the aesthetic that they went for, like, it's kind of weird it seems like it was just, I don't know, just made out to be a little bit different, but I think it kind of works. Like, you know, it's kind of more goldy in a way, like rusted look. I guess it's kind of fine. And it's, I mean, what needs to be functional is functional. What doesn't need to be functional, you know, like what needs to be more aesthetic and immersive, quote unquote, is aesthetic and immersive. One thing that I absolutely abhor, though, is that in normal Hearts of Iron, you see, so what happens is, normally, both in focuses and in text, when you have researched something, it turns green. When you can research or can pick something, but you have not done so yet, it is this kind of yellow color. And then when you cannot, it is red. For some reason, they decided to change this and then have researched things be kind of gold yellow, and then things that you can research be green, which is exactly the opposite of standard Hearts of Iron 4, and just absolutely drives me insane. Why would they do this? Just to confuse people. Like, I literally, that's the only reason they would do that. And then, you know, instead of, it's the same with the focuses. Like, instead of, like, it's all red when you cannot take it, which is good, you know, that's exactly what normal Hearts of Iron 4 does, but yeah. So if you have not taken it, it's green, which normally would indicate that you have taken it. So it's just complicating things for nothing. And we'll get to the focus trees later. Let's first, like, you know, we'll do, I guess, yeah, we'll just do it from like left to right, all the tabs. So obviously this is the politics stuff, and ooh, allied anger. I wonder what this is. I actually don't really. Oh, okay, it does say. That's good. So that's if you piss off the allies. It's a new meter that they have. They also have a new resource, money, which is good. You know, money back into Hearts of Iron. That's good. The problem is I just have no idea what it's useful for, because like you don't use it to produce anything. Just checking to be sure, you know, like it. Yeah, you're not using it to produce anything. You're not using it for any decisions, which we'll see soon. And yeah, it's affected by your policies, obviously, your laws and government. And it just does upkeep on stuff. And I don't think you can use it for trade, because that's just not how Hearts of Iron works. You know, it's for civilian factories that you trade resources. I don't know. I appreciate, though, the attempt, because, yeah, having money is good. If you can use it, it's even better. So, there's... Okay, the first one is, like, you know, Monarchy or Republic. It's, like, it's not used right now, the feature. And, you know, that's kind of fine. But for some reason... For some reason, there exists a form of government with a crowned republic. Which... Like, what is that? That's not how those two words work. And it even says, like, it's a form of government where the monarch and family is an official ceremonial entity with no political power. See, the problem is that's called a constitutional monarchy. You know, it's like I don't even know. I don't even know. Anyway, so you can have economic policy, which affects factories, how quickly you can construct them, and consumer goods, factories for your stuff, and recruitable population. Of course, if you're more mobilized, you get less recruitable population, because it means you have more people sent to, you know, to aid the war effort. So that kind of makes sense. The problem, however, is that then you also have level of nationalization of industry, which kind of does the same thing as the mobilization in terms of, like, its actual, and I'm not expressing this very well, but, like, it's supposed to be the same thing, essentially, in normal Hearts of Iron 4, but they decided to switch it. It's not exactly the same thing in real life, but yeah, you get what I mean. Like, obviously, it's very much, you know, how much control you have over your economy. And I guess this one's difference is that it does not require any world tension or, you know, wars to be on for you to do that. Of course, like right here, To get war economy, you require more than 50% world tension, and to be either fascist or communist, or at war with someone that has more than 10% your total number of factories or whatever. So yeah, you need to be at war or of a certain party with a lot of world tension. With this one, you just need to be of a certain party. Then you have foreign investment regulations, and it's hilarious because he's saying that apparently Germany banned foreign investment, which is, I don't think it's very historically accurate, considering that, you know, there were foreign factories on German soil that operated all the way through the war. And such as Coca-Cola and Ford, which is kind of hilarious. Anyway, eventually they didn't nationalize the Ford plant though, which is why Opel exists today. But whatever, that's a story for another day. So you have, you know, that this just kind of, you're trading political power for economy stuff, which is just obvious, and then you trade more political power for different economy stuff, so it's tariffs, which if you think about it, it's the, like, again, in spirit, it's kind of the same thing as the foreign investors ban stuff. It's just protectionism. You know, it's two different things, I know. Tariffs is not the same thing as regulating foreign investment, but still, like, it's the same thing in spirit. And then you also have a trade policy, which you can do closed economy, but apparently you can do, you know, all these different things, which, again, in spirit, are you going to limit your exports? Are you going to close your economy? Blah, blah, blah. It's, you know, if you're limiting it, you would probably use tariffs to limit it. But at least what they have done is that if you want, for example, to have closed economy, you do not need to, you need to not have private control of industries. You need to not have no tariffs. And you need to not have the free press. So obviously it's like, or low tariffs. So it's like, you know, some of these things are incompatible with each other, which makes sense, you know. Then you have taxes, state press, you know, or free press, censored press. So that's, of course, going to affect, you know, ideology stuff, blah, blah, blah. Police state, because, you know, you want that. Homogenous nation. This stuff is mostly the same from what I saw it last time. They're filling out, though, one thing that I do like is that there's, of course, the manpower stuff, but that's the same as it used to be. Also, for some reason, financial operations are part of the manpower tab. Then there is foreign policy, which is, again, not exactly manpower, but I can see why it would be there, you know. And then investment into education and into training, all of that. That's the usual stuff, you know. They want to bring Hearts of Iron 3 into Hearts of Iron 4. They can do that. And then they have all the New World Order mod, like, you know, policies. Are you going to have your woman working? You know, I'm pretty sure that women allowed to work at this time in Germany is kind of against the Nazi ideology. Wait, so if you're fascist, you can't ban women from working, but if you're a conservative, you can. What? These guys should really read up on, you know, the fascist idea of what a woman should be, but whatever. Yeah, again, like, these historical inaccuracies aside, the only reason I'm even talking about this is because they claim to be the most historically accurate mod that exists, so it's kind of funny. Yeah, whatever. For gameplay purposes, all of this is fine. What's good is that they are starting to, like, fill up the cabinets with people from the start, which is great because, well, let's see if they actually do it with, like, quote-unquote minor countries, which is everyone that is in Germany and Japan. And, you know, the Soviet Union, I guess, is a half real country to these people. Yeah, okay, so they also have some ministers. Good. Although, you know, they don't have political advisors, which is still fine. You know, you can get your own political advisors. It's good that they have, you know, all these cabinets filled up so that, you know, countries are not just like, oh, look, we do not have cabinet if player is not here, you know? It's like, makes sense. Let's go back to Germany. So the fact that they filled that all, actually, first, we should have actually checked out, like, a real minor country to see if it would work. Do you have, for example, Greek ministers, like Kaiserreich would have? Nope. Oh, well, that's fine. Let's see like a semi-minor, like Australia. You know, I feel like Australia might just have some development. Because it's not, you know, a big major, but it's a country that a lot of... I'm sad. Oh, crap. I'm an idiot. I thought that it would be... Yeah. So apparently I went to the Republic of Australia-Hungary instead of the Dominion of Australia. Let's go to the Dominion of Australia now. So Australia, do you have... No, you don't have ministers. Oh, well, that's fine. Who cares? Ooh, there's the Center Party. Lovely. We're gonna check out focus trees and, like, you know, political stuff for minor nations next. I like how they have a rifle and potato icon. I want to see what that is, actually. I think it's like... Obviously, it's a reference to Call of Duty 2, where the guy is like... Grenade! Yeah, the rifle and potato doctrine. So it's just like you're sending the guys in with... you know, one guy gets the rifle, the other guy gets the potato. Which is always lovely. It's a joke, you know, it's not historically accurate. Let them off. You have a bunch of different tank designers that have a you know, this actually used to be in there already. So, you know, whoever historically built or researched a type of tank for Germany, and I'm guessing for like the Soviet Union, Japan, the United States, and some of the bigger majors, and maybe the UK or something, it's gonna be the same. So obviously, since you probably know, Black Ice has its own like custom armor trees for every nation. So every nation has different types of tanks, which is a system that brings a lot of problems, and it's really cool, but it brings a lot of problems. So obviously, if you are gonna get a tank designer, and you want to get a tank designer, and you know, you want your Panthers to be so strong, you get MAN, which you know, only essentially designed the Panther from the ground up. Or, you know, if you want your Panzers to be more, you know, cheaper to build and more reliable, you get Alket. If you want them to have more armor, you get the Nibelungenwerke. Although I think that you get the Nibelungenwerke for free here. No, apparently this is just different. It's a different thing. So there's two Nibelungenwerkes. Yeah, so that's essentially how it is. Or if you want your heavy tanks to be faster, you get Porsche. You know, all that kind of stuff that you're expecting. So there is a bit of both. Like, there's both research companies that give bonuses to everyone, and ones that give bonuses only to single things. I wonder if for the ships it's the same. No, it's only for classes. It's fine. Then there's aircraft. For aircraft, they have for single things, which is like, of course, you know, if you see a type of fighter that you really like, then you have to go ahead and read through an entire gigantic list of all the different aircraft designers to see, you know, who's gonna be the best to build that. But, you know, I can see why. See, in the end, it's actually relatively easy to understand what you're, you know, looking at, because it's easy. Messerschmitt, it's either, you know, BF fighters or ME fighters who are, you know, the ones that Messerschmitt built. Focke-Wulf, you see if it's a Focke-Wulf plane in the name, it's gonna be better. Junkers. So that's, you know, I can complain about it, but it's not the worst. It's doable. Then, yeah, you go down. Material designer. Really? Just 4 infantry. Oh no, 3 normal things, and then Hugo Boss, infantry equipment designer. Uniforms research time -15%. They're so corny. See, this is the thing I dislike about them. They're so corny about everything that's Germany. It's like ridiculous. It's like, oh my god. Go cut yourself. And do not, you know, do not ruin potentially good mods. Anyway, so there's your industrial concerns, obviously. Theorist, just what you'd expect. Then there's a bunch of placeholders, because they still haven't thought out, you know, what are they gonna fill these up with. Oh boy, I wonder. And you have military staff from the start. Again, pretty good. So it's kind of giving you an impression that you're not just walking into an empty country. So that's good. And you can get some extra stuff. They have a lot of different new military high command advisors and stuff. And apparently some unique ones as well, such as Kampfgruppe der Kriegsmarine. you know, or Kampfgeschwader 26. Yeah, okay, whatever, dude. And then some ones that look a little bit more generic, such as Surface Fleet Command. And yeah, that's Military High Command. And then, of course, there's that, you know, light aircraft factory and stuff system. You already know how that works. Then we look at the national focuses later, because that's going to be for later. For decisions, they are using some of the decisions. Like, for example, you know, if you want it used to be that you had a whole focus tree like dedicated to just like Waffen SS units that you could get. But now that decisions exist, they can you can get your SS through there, and you know, you get a bit of description as to like, oh no, actually you don't get the description. I guess it's bugged. And then there's like a whole system where like the, you know, this is like the whole area recruitment. Like, so if you have all the Netherlands, you're gonna get the SS Netherlands in there. And you know, if you just do that too much, the OKW, or you know, the Wehrmacht, the Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, gets mad. Although the OKW at this point in time did not exist, so they could have just said Wehrmacht. But whatever. The Wehrmacht strongly disagrees, will not tolerate a parallel command structure, which is fine. I'm not sure exactly what the bonuses and problems might become, but I like that system because, you know, it's not just like for free you get just, you know, random overpowered Waffen SS divisions. For some reason you can do the Himmler's occult quest, and then you can do all the mobilization waves for Germany, which give you a bunch of free divisions for no reason. And then you just have the standard decisions. So, you know, good enough. Then you have research. Everyone has more research slots from the start. And here comes the big problem, because obviously, like, there's just so many different types of equipment that are just absolutely not needed. And what's even worse is that they've made it worse somehow. So, for example, it used to be that there was only, like, infantry guns, but now they've also added mortars, because why not? You know, we could have that. And actually, mortars is one of the only things in this whole entire thing, in this whole entire tech tree, that I can understand why they would have, because actually mortars are like the most underrated weapon of the Second World War. Like, the Soviets essentially built like tens of thousands of mortars in 1942, and you can see that that skyrockets, like, you know, the amount of things that can kill enemies that they can throw at them. And yeah, so it has some impact. So if it has some impact on a strategic level game like Hearts of Iron, I can see why you would have that in. So good on you that you have added mortars, but you should have removed infantry guns, should have removed uniforms, definitely. I just don't understand why they have uniforms. It's like, why? What does this do? What does this add to the game? You know, it's like, there is no cotton resource. You have not added that in, so why would you have uniforms? Because literally all it's doing is that it's increasing the amount of micro that you need in your, you know, production screen. That's all it's doing, because these things don't really provide a lot of stats, because obviously, like, the uniform, you know, one uniform or the other, it's pretty much the same, you know. And yeah, so it's not the thing a leader of a country would concern himself with, unless he was crazy or something and wanted all of his guys to have really retarded uniforms. At least in any, you know, modern setting. If you're talking about like fucking 1650 or something, I can maybe understand, you know, uniforms being a thing that's like on the order of business. Anyway, there's also AT rifles and AT mines, because, you know, we want infantry AT to also be a tech, which I guess it's fine. Then there's sniper rifles, because of course it needs to be another thing that you can build. Light infantry equipment, I can kind of maybe understand that. What I would have preferred is that they just had like light equipment for cavalry, and you know, have it at that. But yeah, there's also cavalry equipment, just in case you don't know. Then there is the motorized stuff, which is obviously, you know, for some reason, the motorcycle is the first level of mechanized infantry for the Germans, which is not what mechanized infantry is. Mechanized infantry generally has a half-track. A motorcycle generally is a recon unit, but oh well, that's fine. Then they have motorized infantry, obviously. And then, just in case you didn't, oh no, that's later apparently. Just in case you weren't confused enough, then you have a whole bunch of different half-tracks. You know, half-track with HMG, half-track with mortar, half-track with AT, half-track with AA. So it's like, you know, if you want your mechanized to be more specialized in one way or another, I guess you can do that. Or, I don't know, it's just really weird. Then there's, you know, all the different types of warfare equipment. There's the Arctic warfare, there's the airborne assault, but you already knew that that was in there, and honestly, I myself just not too much of a fan of it, but, you know, it's kind of fine. Then there is Advanced Headquarters Command. So there is the headquarters equipment, which is one of the only ones that makes sense because, wait, hold on. Did they remove that? Apparently they removed the high command efficiency. They removed the high command efficiency, which was one of the few, oh, I guess maybe if I just start the game, it's gonna give me the event in a bit. Okay, right, it's gonna give me the event to update everything. Japan claims hegemony in East Asia. The doggos. And yeah, okay, so here is the whole history of the thing guy. Yeah, okay, there it is. Okay, never mind. Oh god, Sharn, what? See, like, I love all this random technicalities just being thrown at you. Anyway, apparently the Scharnhorst class battleships are the first modern battleships to be built for the Kriegsmarine. Thanks, I already knew that. They were built as a response to the French Dunkerque class battleships, themselves a response to the German Deutschland Panzerschiffe. They are armed with 283mm 11-inch guns and triple turrets. Plans were made to upgun them with 380 15-inch guns, but the outbreak of the war never happened. And apparently, you know, I needed to know that. First, Gebirgsjäger Brigade. Why wouldn't I form it? I like having mountain divisions. They're pretty good. Where did it spawn it? Here it is. So, yeah, thanks. You know, one of the things I always like about Black Ice is that you have a lot of unique units that can feel unique with each other thanks to the whole ridiculous, like, equipment system that they have. But it's like, I don't think that having the equipment system as complicated as it is worth just having a few unique units that you can use. Also, one thing that I am not too sure about, but I kind of like, is the way the counters work with some of the special troops. Like, for example, the Wachtruppe Berlin has its own counter, and the Leibstandarte over here has its own counter, you know? That's something that I like. So, in the end, like the whole infantry equipment line, what is the result is that if you go ahead and look at the infantry division, like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You need 15 different types of equipment, aka 15 different production lines, just for your standard 1936 infantry division. Which is just like, are you insane? Like, are you seriously insane? I don't even know anymore. And then you aren't even thinking about the, like, you know, all the different support companies that you can do. Jesus Christ, man. So yeah, let's just, you know, let's speed through this because I don't want to spend any more time than is needed on this. This is just going to be an overview of what, you know, the first impression shows. I haven't had time to really play much with this yet. So I guess about the AI and stuff, I'm going to be talking about, you know, in another video. Because the other big concern that I have of all of this is, you know, it used to be that the AI just could not use any of this. It was just even worse than in the normal game, and I'm thinking that it's going to be much the same. But this is speculation. I haven't yet tried it. Obviously, you have like 13 million different kinds of artillery. You know, you have AA, heavy AA, garrison AA. Why would that be different? I don't know. You have flag towers, because why not? Spotter aircraft for your artillery battalions. You have light artillery, medium artillery, heavy artillery, coastal artillery, which used to already be in there. Rockets, you know, rockets are fine. Thankfully, at least there's no heavy rockets. You have, of course, railway artillery, because why not? And then you have anti-tank and heavy anti-tank. And of course, you would have, you know, the Pak 43, just so that your average German fanboy can come into that. So obviously, then you have your whole tank stuff, which is just like, oh my god, there's so many different ones. And the problem is the worst part about all of this. This is just fine in and of its own. You know, the balancing, they're working that out, I'm sure. I don't want to look at it. Actually, no, let's look at it, because I do want to look at it. So, like, let's take the most standard, like, one you could think of, like 1942 Panzer IV. So, 1942 Panzer IV, and if we were to look at, oh, Jesus Christ. Of course, I can't keep him. Man, Hearts of Iron 4 sometimes just makes it difficult. So, like, 27.5 breakthrough and 10 soft attack. 27.5 and 10 for a 1942 medium. Let's check out the USA and see what the Sherman for that time period tells us. So 1942 Sherman. Okay, so they have differentiated everything, and looks like they are kind of balancing things, which is fine. It's fine. Actually, I wonder if the costs are like different. 216. Let's go back to Germany. Hello. There we are. Let's go back to Germany. So that was 216, right? Okay, so all the costs are different. And I kind of like how the German ones cost more, because, you know, the Germans weren't really that good at resource optimization. And obviously, everyone just has to have all of the different things. You know, all of the different, like, literally the most detailed tree you could think of. You know, you need to have, like, the Flampanzer III. It's showing as an AA tank, but it's actually not an AA tank. Obviously, it's got more breakthrough and soft attack. So, you know, obviously, if you want to have, like, if you just are a fanboy of a specific vehicle like the Hetzer, you know, you can build Hetzers. I know that there's a lot of Hetzer fanboys out there, me included. I do like myself the Hetzer. Or, well, I mean, A50. Strange enough that there isn't the E20. Of course, there's the E25, because, you know, they would just love to put in literally even the Kugel Blitz AA. Like, just the most obscure tanks in existence. The Löwe. Yeah, okay, it's like, whatever. Do you have the Sturmtiger, though? Because, yes, I'm a massive Sturmtiger fanboy. Whatever. So out of there, the biggest problem with this armor system that I always had, and I always will have, because apparently they just don't want to fix this shit, is that they... Okay, so the way it normally works in Hearts of Iron is that you have light tanks, medium tanks, and heavy tanks. And when you upgrade, you can mix the battalions with your newer tanks, slowly replacing the old ones. For some insane reason, for some absolutely insane reason, in Black Heist, they have decided to do things differently. Because for some reason, like, Panzer IVs need to be a different class from Panzer IIIs. And they need to be a different class from Panzer IIs. And they need to be a different class from Panzer Is. And, actually, that's not Panzer Is, that's Panzer Ts. which I kind of could understand, you know, the check tanks, but there's already a system in there, you know, so make it so the check tanks are like represented. It's called like, you know, you go in there and where's the equipment stuff? Oh, bloody hell. Are you telling me you're not gonna let me do that? Well, there's supposed to be an equipment bar somewhere where a template or the other. Okay, hold on. Maybe if I go here into the division editor. Okay, so the template, you know, can click off different types of equipment that you do not want to use. So if you want your, you know, historical 7th Panzer Division, which I'm sure is what everyone's thinking of when they're thinking of the Czech tanks, you can just go to your bloody Panzer Division. Where is it? Then create a duplicate. And in that duplicate, you can click off the German equipment that you do not want to use. Voila, you know? That's all you need to do. You don't need to change around the whole text tree. But whatever, they did, and it breaks the game. Or at least it used to, because what was considered a tank that could go into one battalion or the other often broke down. Maybe it doesn't anymore, but I just don't like that it's there. Also, for some reason, you can research different tracks that give you a different tactic. The Ostkitten. I'm sure that that's supposed to mean like tracks that can go in the mud in the Eastern Front or something. Anyway, this is running very long. Panzer Battalion compositions. Apparently that increases max speed because you're no longer mixing light tanks and medium tanks in the same battalion. Whatever. You have command tanks, which is like pretty good. It's a pretty good idea. I wonder if they go into like the HQ units of tank divisions. Then you have staff cars, which is just to make HQ units. You have tankettes, which is kind of cool because you know, tankettes do kind of play a role that's relatively big in World War II. At least in the early stages for a few countries such as Poland, Italy, and such. And then you have armored car recons, you know, this, you know, for the recon companies, and I can kind of agree with that. Of course, side skirts are a tech for the Germans because why not? I don't even know anymore. Then there is, for doctrines, apparently there's no more actual doctrines for the Germans. Seems like they bugged the game a little bit. Apparently there's no actual doctrines for the Germans, and you can only do the Great War doctrines. Yeah. Good job. I don't know. If we go ahead and look at like the USA, can you get World War II army doctrines, you know, kind of important stuff? Takes a while to switch. Much longer than in the normal game. I wonder why exactly that is. I think it's because there's more things that it needs to calculate. Because there's more things that the AI will do. No, apparently also the United States has... Okay, apparently it's just a bug with the icon. Because... No, this is all researched. Okay, no, never mind. It's all researched. So they just removed doctrines from World War II. For some insane reason. Let's check out the USN Navy. USN Navy? The USN. The US Navy. Tree. Obviously they have like a million different kinds of ships of all types. Because, you know, I want to simulate that I have my Alaska-class battlecruisers as the United States. You know? Okay, it's actually less insane than I thought. There's, of course, a lot of fucking million different types of seaplane tenders and light carriers because, you know, the game needs that and not just have, like, 2 or 3 types. But, you know, that's fine. I still don't understand why there's no... Do the Soviets have land doctrines? Then after the Soviets... Wait, maybe it's just hidden somewhere. Maybe I'm just an idiot, you know? Man, this is gonna be such a long video. I apologize, but I want to explore this in depth because it is such an in-depth mod. So yeah, here's the Soviet tank tree. A lot less complicated than the German one, thankfully, because, you know, in real life the Soviets were not brain dead, unlike the Germans. Yeah, no, I'm not retarded. Like, I thought that maybe, like, it would be down here, but, like, you would not be researching any land doctrines. This is kind of a big part of the game, you know? Big part of how the combat works. You know, new... Of course, Stormtrooper assaults have the Stormtrooper little thing. See, like, you know, so that you have new tactics and stuff, so that you have more specialization with what you're doing with your lovely country or something. I just don't understand. Does a normal country have that, or is it just like, you know, a bug for the bigger majors, or is it just a bug for everyone? Like, let's go back to Greece, because we already established that Greece is not developed. Come on. All right. So, Greece. Can you research land doctrines? No, they just don't have land doctrines. For fuck's sake. Why am I even wasting time with this? Anyway, let's just continue looking at more stuff. Like, if you don't have land doctrines, you don't have fucking land doctrines, and you're claiming to be the most historically immersive, historically accurate, like, thing out there. And maybe I'm just wrong, and they're hidden somewhere. I maybe am too retarded to find out where they are. But see, that's where you're fucking wrong, because apparently you're, like, putting enough of a priority on your fucking uniforms that anyone, you know, the first thing they see when they open the tech tree is the fact that you can do uniforms. You know, you need to build uniforms. But you cannot find where their land doctrines are. And, you know, I've played like 1,000 hours of Hearts of Iron, so I kind of know how the interface works. So, yeah, if it is somewhere, it's their fault at this point. Because if I haven't found it while actively looking for it in the research tree, there's something fucking wrong. You know? Then you have, you know, engineering and advanced tech is the same. Industrial is the same as it used to be. You know, I kind of like this one except for like the right side. I don't think it's really all that useful. It's just a waste of research time. They just need to rebalance it a little bit to make it not as bad. But all of this is fine. I liked it when I played the first time. I liked the different factories. I still like it. Then there's, you know, obviously every country has its own different air tree. And obviously with the Germans, who have the most ridiculously complicated, you know, research and procurement system in real life, or had. It's complicated as hell, and it's difficult to navigate, and they don't even put, like, at least here they put, you know, light, heavy, medium, you know, actual navigational helps, you know, for you. But apparently with the Air Force, they still haven't managed to do that. Fucking 2 years, well, more like a year and a half in development, you know, whatever. I guess they do at least have descriptions on the thing, so you see it's a fighter, you see it's an interceptor, but what the fuck is an AMR? Like, I just have no fucking clue what an AMR is. It's a multi-role of some kind? I don't know. It's apparently a multi-role. But then why is it clumped up with interceptors? It's like, lovely research tree. Yeah, I get it. It's a Focke-Wulf 190, and then there's another Focke-Wulf 190. Still, though, pisses me off. Heavy fighters, at least they say that that's a heavy fighter. They're, for some reason, have night fighters. I'm not sure exactly what the purpose of them is, because I'm pretty sure there's no way of having, like, night combat bonus for fighters and bombers, but, you know, it's if they want to have that. Then you have all the Wonder Waffles, you know, Horton 229 jet fighter, you know, the flying wing jet fighter. So yeah, the Arado jet bomber. All these are kind of funny and kind of cool. And guess what? You have air doctrines, but you don't have land doctrines. And you have navy doctrines, but you don't have land doctrines. Jesus fucking Christ. But of course you have like this cool icon for like the Kriegsmarine. And then, you know, there's a kind of stylized Bismarck over here. You had time to do that, but you don't have time to fix land doctrines. Or tell me what kind of submarine I'm building. I guess here it's like, you know, if you know what a Type 9 submarine as opposed to a Type 7 submarine as opposed to a Type 2 submarine is, it's no problem for you because it's, you know, pretty understandable. But like, yeah. So if you know that like these are coastal submarines, that these are like the standard submarines and these are the advanced submarines, you don't have, you know, that many problems. Like, imagine someone that doesn't, you know, isn't an autistic piece of shit and knows about this stuff. It's like, how do they know? Whatever. Then you have all the different, you know, Kriegsmarine Navy. So obviously, you know, just apparently these things are required to exist. Oh wow, plus 30% surface detection radar. Wonder if the Japanese have that. or actually, no, let's go to the United States. I wonder if the United States has radar techs. Because I'm pretty sure when I looked, they didn't have all these like side upgrade techs. So what would be hilarious is that I go there and actually it turns out that the United States, you know, the most technologically advanced navy in World War II, does not have these upgrades. So if, for example, an Iowa-class battleship were to go up against a Bismarck or something, it would probably get crushed because, you know, for example, you have, where is it? Like, you have 31 armor and 239 naval firepower, 32 fire range. So 32 fire range, 240 naval firepower. And then you go to Germany, and Germany has probably less, you know, in the normal stats, if we go ahead and look. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, game. Don't be slow. There we are. So if we go to the Kriegsmarine, we probably see that their battleship, and actually this is a way smaller tier, so let's do the same tier, you know, the H-41 battleship. Oh, apparently not. Apparently the German battleship is just much fucking better. By default. Because that's how it works. And then it also gets upgrades. Yeah, you heard it here first. Germany is superior to the United States on the high seas. And I guess that's all that we need to know about Black Ice for now. So yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. And I know I didn't. And if I will have the will to actually go ahead and place, you know, some Black Ice, then I can comment on the AI and stuff. But for now, you know, once again, very promising, but for just, I don't know what kinds of decisions these people are making and why, but I don't like them. And I don't know. I hope that you're not gonna be retarded enough to just downvote this video because I have a different opinion. But yeah, if you think that the German fleet is superior to the United States on the high seas, I guess you're gonna love Hearts of Iron Black Ice. And if you want uniforms, if you want to build, like, to have 15 different production lines to build an infantry division, Black Ice is for you. If not, it's still not, you know, in any way more playable than it used to be. It's still not utilizing its good, like, its good features are still being held back as much as they used to be, it seems. But hey, I don't know. Maybe one day that's gonna change. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you soon. Have a good day.